Yeah, give me a couple of minutes. Not gonna hurt you. Got some setting up to do here. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. All right. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-ba. All right, so as we go back to trying to figure things out, I found out that the sunlight was burning the battery on phones on every camera much more fast. So we had to run back inside and go to the man cave, or what I call my shop, because of course the candle connoisseur needs a shop to make his candles. So I had to run into the lab in order to cool down my devices so that we can keep doing this live. And of course, it's needed. Totally needed. As I had mentioned before, you know, a lot of times people don't understand how things are, right? So I want to touch base on, you know, you guys may have heard me before. I was talking to somebody about what they believed in, and they tell me what they read and what they went with in the book that they read. And of course, I didn't knock them for it, because that's their choice. All right. So one of the things that I did try to explain to them was everybody has a different view behind it, and everybody's view is to be respected. Now, whether or not he understood it, I really don't care if he did, because same way he can give me his opinion, I gave him mine. And if he felt uncomfortable about it, you know what? At the end of the day, that's what tends to happen. That's what makes people different. So the only thing I say to anybody out there who believes in seeing things differently, just respect the person that you're talking to. Respect what they see, respect what they're talking about, because at the end of the day, you don't have the right to be upset at what they do. So, you know, it is what it is, right? So with that being said, what I'm going to touch base on now is something that Brother Ron from Ron's Opinion had said to me. He says, if you go live, just talk. So I'm just going to talk. What was funny is another thing that we have, again, like I said, I got to give a big old shout out to Brother Ron from Ron's Opinion Don't Matter. Brother Ron has reached 2,000 subscribers, and he's doing a raffle and testimony with Top to Bottom, which is my Queen of Queens. And for you TikTokers, TOP number 2, BOTTU for unique M.com. That's TOP number 2, BOTTUM.com. If you claim to want products that are safe, toxic free, and do not have any chemicals that will get you sick, then you need to see and you need to stop by Top to Bottom Organics products, because those products that you claim that you need are available. So stop telling people you can't find it. I don't want to hear that no more, because I'm telling you, it's out there. It can be found. It's up to you whether or not you want to purchase it. So again, that's Top to Bottom, TOP, number 2, BOTTU for unique, M.com. Check out the website, look what's there. Go from the top of the head to the bottom of your feet, even down, even including your nose, because I make the candles, and the Queen of Queens, she makes all the products. She's the formula creator behind Top to Bottom. And again, like I said, you guys and girls out there would listen to somebody wearing a white coat tell you what to do with your life. You allow other people to tell you what to do with your life, and you run with it. So I'm sitting here telling you that you need to go check out toptobottom.com in order for your hair to stop breaking, your acne to start flaring up, your dark spots to start fading the right way without the incorrect chemicals, and of course, keep your skin soft, keep your hair manageable. Same thing with the fellas, okay? You guys are running around here with beards that would cut cheese as if it was a slicer, but you want to walk around talking about it's fly. No, it's worse than a crocodile's hind part, okay? Come check out toptobottom.com. That's TOP, number 2, BOTTUM.com for your beard products, for your face products, for your hair products. Because fellas, regardless of what you think your hair is different than your beard, it's the same. And just in case, for you guys that like to shave down below, all that hair is all from the same body. So you need to take care of all of it. So stop fronting, okay? Stop fronting. I'm telling you now. I know a lot of you out there, because I have a lot of them. Oh, well, you know, I do this. No, stop. Stop it, okay? Stop complaining that nobody has the right product for you. Stop complaining that you can't find the product. Stop complaining that no one makes it. Because I'm sitting here telling you that my Queen of Queens, which is the formula creator behind toptobottom.com, which is TOP, number 2, BOTTUM.com, makes the products to assist you in getting your hair better, assists you to get your skin feeling better, your acne problems, helps you out as well. You got things going on inside your scalp, she's got a product that will help you there too. And of course, if your feet are like dragon feet, or crocodile feet, or straight backyard timber wolf paws, got a product for that too, okay? And of course, for those of you that may like that spa experience, I've added in candles to the Top to Bottom website. I guarantee you can take my candle and you can take any candle that's on the market, and I guarantee you that my candle will supersede that candle tenfold. I want to see somebody come back and tell me that that's not possible. Because I could tell you right now, there are people out there that will go to Bath and Body Works or Yankee Candle and all these other companies that make candles, even Walmart, and they buy them candles over there, and because they spent $6 for a 20-ounce candle, they think they got gold, and they call it a haul. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Like you turn around and you put the wrong size tire on your car and trying to figure out why your steering wheel is shaking while it's down the road because you want to save yourself a few pennies. You know what? That's just you. That's like the people who want to buy crab legs, go all crazy buying crab legs. Oh, crab legs. Come to find out the crab legs that you bought are freaking made in a factory and making you sick. But you want to run around town talking about, oh yeah, you got it right. No, you got it wrong. I'm just saying, that's just the way it is. I don't care what you say, so that's the fact of the matter. So again, I can guarantee you this. My candles that can be found on the top and bottom website, which is top2.com, okay? top2, BOTTUM.com, for the natural hair products. And for those vegan people, the products are vegan friendly, toxic free. And if anybody has ever heard of formaldehyde, which is the one chemical that keeps the body alive when the body is dying or decaying, there's none of that in there. And alcohol, which is drying up your skin, because a lot of you want to walk around smelling good and you're using alcohol inside the actual fragrance that you're buying. Yeah, look it up. That's why there's a difference between eau de toilette and parfum. Y'all want to buy the eau de toilette and say, oh yeah, I got good perfume. No, you don't. You got toilet water with alcohol and a little bit of fragrance. That's why it's called eau de toilette. Okay? Look it up. If you don't want to believe me, that's on you. But look it up. So y'all want to walk around here with baloney money, talking about y'all running around with Chanel bags and Gucci bags and GQ bags and all these finer things, but you running around here with baloney money. Cut it out. Seriously, just cut it out. Because at the end of the day, you can take the baloney money and spend it on good stuff, make yourself look better and feel better. Because if you don't make yourself feel better first, you're not going to make anybody feel better, because you're missing out the most important person, which is yourself. Right? So, with that being said, a few things I want to talk about. Like I said before, I got to give praise and, of course, a lot of shout out to Ron from Ron's Opinion Don't Matter, because Brother Ron is definitely a brother to deal with all the time, especially with the fact that he has reached over 2,000 plus subscribers, and he is now doing a collaboration with my Queen of Queens to give back to the people, or give back to his subscribers, and of course introduce the product to the subscribers, so that the subscribers will now have the opportunity to understand why he is so happy with the top to bottom products. And he also has asked several people to come in tomorrow on the live and give a small testimony about how well the product is working for them, which product they're utilizing, because he's been using a product that he has coined the name Afro Magic, right? Because his hair, every time I see him, I mean, I watch him go live on several occasions, and I always ask him, I said, did you go to the barber today? Did you cut your hair today? And he'd sit there and he'll say, Jay, no, I did absolutely none of that. It's that Afro Magic that your wife made for me. I was like, okay. And then of course he forgets what it's called, because he likes the name Afro Magic, but it's actually called the Herbal Infused Hair Butter. Okay. And of course it has infused water, it has a lot of good chemicals in it. Ingredients rather, not chemicals. I want to say ingredients because chemicals make it sound bad. So it's actually ingredients. And these are the things that a lot of you folks out there need, because a lot of you have been running around for years putting the wrong stuff inside your hair, because a lot of you forget that once you put it in your hair, it goes into your scalp. Your scalp now turns around and sucks it into your body, and your body now is getting sick. And you're trying to figure out why you're sick. That's because you done put the wrong thing inside your scalp. You put the wrong thing inside your beard, and of course you just mess yourself up completely. Right? So what tends to happen is that we have found, or rather I have found, that even down to guys that have beards, the biggest mistake that you guys do when you have a beard, and I don't care who you are, I don't care where you at, if you're in the United States, you need to touch base with top2bottom.com. That's TOP2 BOTTUM.com to fix your beard. Okay, because a lot of you think that just by putting the shea butter on it, it's helping. You're not taking care of the skin underneath, right? Because here's the thing, and I don't care which one of you turn around and say this is not true. You know what? That's because you don't want to admit to the truth. But 99% of guys who have beards always do this. And they call it thinking mode. Right? Just like this. Right? Or they go like this with both their hands because they got a big beard. Right? They go like that. Rarely do you ever see a guy with a beard ever go like this. So what do you think you're doing? So when you're eating, you're drinking, you're talking, you're working, I don't care where you work at, all these germs and all this stuff is getting on the front of your beard, and of course you're pushing it to the back where there's no sunlight, where there's no fresh air, where there's nothing nutrient wise going towards the neck. So all under here is all messed up, all under here is all messed up. And of course a lot of you, now I used to do it, I used to pick up my beard and smell it, and I was not too happy about what I was finding when I was sniffing it. So I get mad and I go wash it, and I stick my fingers in it, and I do like this when I'm washing it. Again, all you're doing is you're pushing everything that's in the front, you're pushing it to the back. So you need to go the other way. Go the other way. When you wash it, when you brush it outward, right? Even when you go to the barber, I've seen it. Barbers turn around, cut your hair, cut your beard rather, and they should give you a nice little shape up. They clean you up real nice, and they push the razors towards the back. They don't come forward, they push you to the back. So everything that's in the front now goes to the back, and then you're trying to figure out why you got all these bumps back here, and why your skin is always itching under here, because all you're doing is pushing everything from the front to the back. So top to bottom has created a beard wash, has created the beard stimulating oil, has created oils that would help grow the hair of your beard better, stronger, and of course many other products to help your hair grow. So if you have patches in your beard but you think you look fly, she made a phenanine, which is another product that helps the hair grow so that you can actually have a full beard instead of having these patches in you calling yourself a beard. And you gotta check it out. Again, that's TOP number 2 BOTTUM.com, because at the end of the day you cannot say no one told you, because I'm here telling you. And of course, once you put it on the internet, there's no taking it back. So I told you, and I'm telling you, if you don't check it out, you're gonna lose out. So stop spending your money on over-the-counter products. Like, for example, I knew somebody that kept buying Alberto VO5 hair conditioner. They would buy mounds of it, mountains, because it was inexpensive, $1, $2. They go home, well, I made a haul, I got these 30, 40 bottles, and they're using one bottle a week because it just doesn't do anything. What does that tell you? You're wasting money, you're throwing money away. So why don't you get yourself a product that actually works, it smells good while you're doing it. And at the same time, while you're washing your hair, washing your beard, you sit back, you light a candle, and it makes the experience even better. So this way, when you're sitting at home, you have a much more better experience than what you're actually doing otherwise, right? But of course, that's up to you if you want to do that. If you don't want to do that, that's your choice. But do not say to anyone that no one out there makes a product that works for you. Because here's the other funny thing. I don't think any of you can actually turn around and say there's, well, no, let me rephrase that, because there is a company out there. I don't know if they can actually do this though. But I want you guys to tell me what company out there actually picks up the phone when you call to have a conversation with you about your condition, about your situation, and does not charge you for it. Because that's the key point right there. They don't charge you for it. So if they charge you for it, top to bottom won't do that. Top to bottom wants to assist you in getting healthier hair, healthier skin. So when you turn around again and you say that there's nobody out there doing it, don't say that no more. Because I'm sitting here saying to you folks, there's a company out there that does it. So understand that, okay? Truly understand that. So go check out top to bottom, that's TOP number 2 BOTTUM.com. Check out toptobottom.com. Subscribe to my channel, which is the FATATCHULA Show. Okay? You can't miss it, because once you go to YouTube and you put in FATATCHULA, you're going to see a big yellow banner, and then you're going to see my funny face in there. So don't say you couldn't find me, because then I'm going to call you a liar. And of course, we can talk about the reaction videos I do. We can talk about the videos I do. We can even have a talk about certain things. Like this afternoon, the conversation I'm going to have today is based off of this guy, Abrego Garcia. Now, some of you may think that I'm picking on this guy. And I got to say, I am. Because to me, one of the worst things ever in life for me is to hear a Latino. Well, basically, it's almost everybody. And the reason I say it's almost everybody is because many, many years ago, when of course we go back to what was called slaves, there was a melanated person in charge of the slaves, telling them what to do. And the same way in the Persians had, brown-skinned people forcing other brown-skinned people to do things that they didn't want to do. So here's a fellow that's a Latino and doing a lot of things wrong. And I really don't like that word alleged. Alleged to me sounds so phony because you don't want to admit to the truth. But yet alleged is garbage. So if you guys turn around and tell me, oh no, alleged is a good word to use. No, it's not, because I allegedly say that all of you are criminals. That's not cool for me to say. So keep in mind that word alleged, because that's what they keep saying. He's alleged, or he allegedly human trafficked somebody or a group of people. I watched the video. He had 10 people inside a Suburban, but the Suburban was already a listed vehicle with another human trafficker. So as I say all the time, birds of the feather will flock together, right? What that means, TikTok, follow my channel on the YouTube side, which is the FATATCHULA show, so you can understand exactly what I'm talking about, where I'm talking about, and of course, come on by so you can actually see it. So that's FATATCHULA on the YouTube side. It's got a big yellow banner, and it's my pretty face on there. Join my channel so you can be part of the conversations. You can watch my reaction videos. Come on through, have some fun. Don't forget about tomorrow, Sunday, Eastern Standard Time, 12 noon. That's tomorrow, August 31st. Top to bottom, which is TOP2BOTTUM.com, and Ron's Opinion Don't Matter are going to have a collab. They're giving away some prizes. They're going to have some testimonies. So come on through. All right? So, with that being said, there are so many times where people want to claim that they're doing good. Yeah, I had to just turn off my TikTok side there. They claim that people are doing things good and for the right reasons. Why is it that if a person does something wrong to another person, they call it alleged, or they turn around and say that person is not like that, that's a good person, and they'll throw a whole bunch of money out there to protect this person? Because y'all see, I mean, he didn't want to be in the spotlight for many years. All of a sudden he's in the spotlight. He got more light on him that he never even thought of, right? So if you understand the story or what's been happening with Abrego Garcia, and I take offense to it because of course I'm a Garcia as well, and I ain't had that many people come out when I got in trouble. Hell, they didn't even want to know nothing about me. They said, you're not that important to us. They didn't help. They didn't even give me $1 to help. But they done threw thousands of dollars at this fella here. So I don't understand how it's still an alleged concept where he was stopped by a state trooper. 2 different law enforcement agencies were there talking to him. They found that the vehicle that he was in belonged to another human trafficker that was charged with human trafficking on the same route, matter of fact. They also turned around, the media turned around and said he's allegedly part of the MS-13. This is where it gets interesting. I'll give you that part, because there's no, it's like, okay, how can we prove it? Now, many years ago, I heard something that may make sense now. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, sounds like a duck, looks like a duck, that's a good probability it's a duck, right? So if we take maybe that 10%, 5% away and say that that is not a duck, it's a pigeon walking around, and or rather fact, a parrot, because a parrot has learned how to speak, and let's say it's a parrot, is it still alleged? I don't know. So we watched this fella turn around and have 10 human beings inside a vehicle that's only supposed to carry 8. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 people. So you had 2 extra bodies inside the vehicle. Nobody had any luggage. All they had was toothbrushes, toothpaste, and a piece of paper and pencil. And he said that he wasn't human trafficking at all. That wasn't his thing. He wasn't doing that. They were just going from one state to another. Yet he had no license, no registration, no insurance. Now, I have not ever seen in any state within the United States, from California to New York, that has ever stopped a person that doesn't have a license, registration, or insurance card and allows them to drive away. Never. I've never seen it, never heard it, couldn't understand it. Yet that is what happened. Several months later, they turned around and said he's allegedly part of the MS-13. All right, because there's no hard evidence right now. So that's why they use the word allegedly. Yet the hard evidence is he's a trafficker, unlicensed, no insurance, no registration, and he's in the United States illegally. So those 4 steps were 100% true. Why did he have the opportunity to skate away from all this? There's a real big question behind that. And not a lot of people want to admit it, nor a lot of people want to talk about it. Yet, in my eyes, it's because he's an informant. If anybody doesn't know what an informant is a person who works for law enforcement to stay out of trouble, but they give them all the details behind what their bosses are doing. Right? So here's something that you guys may want to think about, and no matter how many of you want to say that I'm wrong about this, I want you to think about this for a moment. We heard, or rather I know I heard, about a young boy, I think it was Chicago or Minnesota. There was a young boy who was chased by 4 gangbangers from MS-13. 2 of them were chasing him on foot, and 2 of them were in the car chasing him. They caught up to the boy, and they hit the boy, or as they use the term, chop, which is stupid because they didn't chop anything off. They hit him with a machete, which is a very large knife or mini sword. And of course, cut the boy. The boy got up, kept running, was able to run, got to a police precinct. They apprehended the 4 boys. It might have even been Florida. I'm not 100% sure where it was. I kind of forgot where it's at. And of course, they turned around and they said that these 4 boys were targeting this young man because they thought he was a rival gangbanger. All 4 of those boys got locked up. Now, how is it possible that Abreu Garcia is seen on camera human trafficking, which means that he's taking people from one place that are illegally here in the United States through the United States to another place with no license, no registration, no insurance card, and not getting in trouble? On top of that, let's not forget, they've had politicians, when he got deported, they turned around, they got judges, they signed petitions, they created a whole lot of money, or found a whole lot of money, to turn around and say that this Maryland father was a good man. Have y'all not noticed how many times a person stands in front of a courtroom and says, oh, my son's a good son, oh, my husband's a good husband, and then later on down the line find that the husband was beating on the wife constantly, find that the child actually killed another child just because, or that they raped somebody, or they did some type of heinous crime. But yet in the eyes of the law and eyes of the court, everybody's always good. And the only question I ask, if you're not with that person 24/7, don't say that they're good, because they just might be the wrong one. And I give you another one. You know how they say, I saw this on a video the other day, the lady turned around and said, my kids hang out with a play uncle, right? I had to laugh. I laughed at that because the play uncle is usually the one that's, not too wrapped tight in the head and would turn around and abuse the child. But they won't see that because the play uncle is part of the family member. But this is what they miss out on. And you guys can check it out, stories left and right, on how many times the family friend, the family uncle, family aunt is the one that abused the child or took the child. I'm just saying. Think about those things. So when we look at this Abrego Garcia fella here, and this has been on the media for so many days, so many weeks, so many months, I've never seen someone get so much money for being on camera. And yes, Ron, Democrats love criminals. Yes. I'm able to see the comments a little better here because I'm a little closer. And it's disgusting. And you have to ask yourself this major question. Why is it that this person was allowed, again, to drive from one state through so many states to another state without getting arrested? That's the first thing. Second thing, when he was deported, everybody saw in the news media how crazy they went trying to get him back, saying it was unconstitutional. It was he needed due process, and they kept missing the fine point. Again, this comes back to how people do not want to read. The fine point says that the Constitution is for those that are citizens of the United States. That's where the Constitution comes into play. So the rules are put in to somewhat protect the citizen. But yet they said that this man, which was an illegal person in the United States, which of course that's a crime in itself, was a good man. So you could commit a crime, but you're still seen as good. So I don't understand how people who have been incarcerated come out of the system, try to get their life together, and yet they call it 3 strikes against the person, especially if they're colored. They did all that for one person, but won't do that for their own communities that vote for them. You're absolutely right, Ron. You're absolutely right. And that's where it gets disgusting, because you figure out, or one sits back and says, well, why is it all that money was spent on that one person, even as he is a criminal in many forms of a fashion, look for every single penny that they can squeeze to keep him in the United States. That's an informant. He's an informant for some entity that does illegal stuff, and the United States and or those that were fighting for him needed his information that they were giving to him. Because listen, you guys can watch any kind of movie you want. You guys can watch any kind of story. You guys can read stories, watch crime stories. One thing stays the same. Just for real, thanks for joining. Welcome. Appreciate that. I can't understand why this dude is so important. Well, just as I was saying, in my opinion, and based off a lot of things that I know about how the law works, Abrego Garcia is an informant. He's an informant. Whether he's an informant for the FBI, whether he's an informant for the CIA, whether he's an informant for the INS, whether he's an informant for ICE. You hear so far, I keep naming acronyms because there's a 3-letter alphabet entity that's using him as an informant. Now, if you don't believe that, just, look at true crimes. Look at all the true crimes, all unsolved mysteries, all unsolved stories, law enforcement stories, law enforcement books. Look it up. See how they treat the criminal informant for the entity. They go out their way to make sure that informant does not get in trouble. Now, one of the things that a lot of people do not know, I'll give you a story about something. Many years ago in the state of New Jersey, in this town of Newark, there were some kids in the backyard of a playground of a school that were murdered and attempted murder, because 2 of them survived, 3 of them were unalive, by a gang of kids from El Salvador, Mexico, MS-13, El Salvadorian, whatever the kids can be. They weren't sure which of the three it was. They named a couple of them were part of it. And all those kids that made these crimes all were put in jail. All of them. There were no criminal informants. But we come back now to Abrego Garcia. How Abrego Garcia was deported from the United States to a maximum facility. And even there, he was not attacked by the other rival gangs. He was not touched by anybody over there. And if anybody knows about this, if you don't believe me, look it up. There's something that's called protective custody, right? PC, inside the jail systems, inside the prisons. It doesn't matter if you're in a maximum county jail, state prison, whatever. PC, they put you in the PC. You don't see anybody. You're not talking to nobody. You don't touch anybody. You're not interacting with anybody. And 1 hour a day, there's two corrections officers walk you everywhere you got to go and put you right back inside the cell. Even the cell may have a small window and may not have a window because it's called protective custody, because they don't want you to be seen and or attacked by anybody. Y'all can watch the movies. Y'all can look it up. Trust me. It's amazing how when you really think about these things and see these things, 2 plus 2 starts equaling 4 as opposed to 22. So he was in the maximum prison for several days. I'm not sure exactly how many days, how many months it was. But they deported him into a maximum prison out of the country into another country where there was nothing but gangbangers inside that facility. And he wasn't harmed. He wasn't touched. He wasn't threatened. He was actually released to go out and talk on camera at a hotel with a Democrat and then put back in. Now, many people have grown up knowing the term snitches get stitches. Hence the reason why a lot of people don't want to give up the information when they're in trouble and or when there's a situation going down. They don't give up trouble, give up the information because they believe snitches get stitches. So how is it that this guy, a human trafficker, because that's not an alleged, he was in the vehicle with the people, was able to go into a maximum prison where all these gangbangers were at and not get harmed? Got to think about that. That's a criminal informant, protective custody. Went out, and of course, all of those criminals knew that he was visited by a United States Democrat politician. They knew about that because, of course, they talk. They watch the news, so they know what's going on. It still wasn't touched. Why is it all of a sudden, and here's where the kicker comes in. Recently, I heard that he and his lawyer, team of lawyers now. Hell, most of us can't even afford one lawyer. And he got a team of lawyers. He has a team of lawyers saying that he cannot be sent. Where was it they were trying to send him to? Oh my gosh. Was it Guatemala? I'm trying to remember where he was. Hold on now. Hold on. I don't want to misspeak. I don't want to miss. I want to be 100% sure about this one, because I want to see where they wanted to send him first, and gee, what is this? I should have looked this up before because I was interested. Costa Rica, yes, thank you, Costa Rica. Thank you, top to bottom. So and this is where it gets funny. Venezuela, yeah. Here's where it gets funny. Why is it that he and his team of lawyers did not want to send him to Costa Rica? Still getting deported. But they chose Uganda, which is, of course, on the other side of the ocean, which is surrounded by people of my colored shirt. And the language that he speaks may or may not even be there. Why is it that's the only place that he has not turned around, or his team of lawyers have not turned around and disputed to send him there? Why is it that Costa Rica is the only place that they did not want to send him? Now, think about this for a moment. Where was the drugs coming from back in the 70s and 60s and 50s? We know that a lot of the drugs came from Vietnam. Where did it come through? Where was it coming from? Now, we know that goes on in Costa Rica. Yeah. Is it safe to say that he can't go to Costa Rica because he'll have a bounty on his head once he lands there and he'd be done? They'll take him out once he comes off the plane? Because that's who he's snitching on? I'm just saying. Think about it for a moment. People, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, yet I know I have a good head on my shoulders, and I think about things, and I tend to put two and two together, and I come up with four. You had a team of lawyers to keep him from getting sent to Costa Rica, a Latin place where they speak Spanish, where there are people of his complexion, where he can speak very comfortably, and of course might be allowed to be around his own kind of people, but yet there's no maximum prison there. But how do we know there's a maximum prison in Uganda? Really got to think about this. I'll give you another one. Look at the young man that was, he was a TikTok influencer, and he was talking about how he was taking all this money from the United States. He's from El Salvador. And when they put him on the plane, they had to give him his own security detail on the plane because the people, which were the other prisoners on the plane, were trying to kill him while he was on the plane. Then he came off the plane. They gave him an additional police security team when they transported him to the jail. And then, of course, they put him in protective custody. So if they did that for that young man, why was none of that done for Abrego Garcia? Is it safe to say he's an informant? Yeah. Is it safe to say that he's an informant for the cartels in Costa Rica? Yeah. Why? You got to look at where the majority of the drugs come from. You got to look at the majority of where the money is getting laundered from, where a lot of things are happening under the radar. Got to look at it, right? Because, of course, they didn't want to send him back to El Salvador. They fought to get him out of El Salvador because they knew that somewhere was going to get him. He went to a maximum prison where they shaved his head, and he came back with a full head of hair. I'm just saying. On top of that, he was released to go talk to a Democrat politician on how to get him out. And then, of course, he's got a team of lawyers. Now, again, I'm not picking on the guy. I just want you guys to start really thinking about what's going on with this Abrego Garcia fella. And if you guys don't believe me, which I'm sure most of you, many of you don't, ask yourself the question. If he's so much of a family man, a husband from Maryland, why isn't it that they're not taking care of the people, all the fathers and all the people who do well in Maryland? Why not funnel the money over there to take care of all of those people, not just one guy? Why don't they do the same thing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania? Why aren't they funneling the money over there? Why aren't they taking care of all the fathers? There's a bunch of single fathers out there. There's a bunch of married husbands out there who are doing right by their family members. Hell, I know of a couple of males right now that are in New York taking care of their children. They ain't getting up. They get kicked in the butt because they're doing that. They get told a whole bunch of stuff that they ain't doing right. So again, I don't get it, right? So when you actually sit back and you say, you know what, Jay, you just talking too much stuff. That's why it's called the FATATCHULA Show, because you're supposed to like, follow, subscribe, and share to my channel so that you can come at me with your non-receipts and your nonsense theories. And if you want to call me a conspiracy theorist, okay. Can I prove these things? Absolutely. Can you prove what you're saying to me is true? Absolutely not. And how I know it's not is because no one's coming at me. Okay? For weeks, I've been talking about it beforehand. No one came at me. For weeks, I spoke to people about what's supposed to be done. Nobody came at me. So now on the FATATCHULA show, we're going to do it again because we want to see exactly how many of you out there, you Latinos and Latinas that claim to be rooting for this fella, can sit there and tell me that I'm not talking the truth. Now, if you're going to turn around and say, oh, I don't understand what you're saying, well, we can have this conversation in Spanish if you wish. If you want me to talk to you in Spanish, I'd be more than glad to. Because at the end of the day, whether it's English or Spanish, it's still going to come down to the same thing. Abrego Garcia is an informant. He's an informant for some entity here in the United States. What 3-letter acronym it is? Hell, I don't know. What I do know is he's an informant. So when you talk about that rule of snitches get stitches, he's snitching and he ain't getting no stitches. But yet, society tells you that snitches get stitches. So I don't know. You know, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. You can lock up a guy for a first-time offense, or a guy can get locked up for a first-time offense for having a certain amount of marijuana on him, and they throw the book at him. Somebody could be charged with an alleged crime, and still get the book thrown at him. Here's a fellow who has physically broke several laws and got a team of lawyers. And y'all see his wife crying. You know what? I think she's crying because she's afraid of what he's going to do to her. That's why she's crying, because she's looking at all these people who fight for him, and she's crying because she's saying, get him away. You know how they say blink twice if you're in trouble? She's crying. I don't think she's crying because they're trying to keep him out of there. I think she's crying because she knows they're trying to keep him there. Okay? So you've got to understand that too. You got to look at that concept as well. So when we look at all these people and all these things that are happening, people, come on now. We got to stop. Okay? Stop with the rhetoric about, oh, we got to believe the other people. We got to believe the people who know better. Those people don't know any better, because I said it before and I'll say it again. Allow me to come to your house, give you no money, and tell you what to do in your house. I'm going to shit and piss in every single corner like a savage, and you can't tell me nothing. I want to see how long that's going to last. Y'all, most of y'all try to kick me out. Y'all try to throw me out. Y'all try to do something. But you know, I look at it like this. Y'all just afraid. Y'all afraid to say what's really on your mind. Like, for example, a couple of people I came across want to talk about this EBT thing. I also watched a story that came out many years ago about a fella who killed his cousin over a $300 EBT card. And I think that was 2017, it might have been.
Yeah, 2017.
So when you look at how far back people were angry about EBT, and you look at now how people are angry, I'm surprised that a lot of people ain't dead now. I mean, really think about it. You got people who are screaming and hollering. They get thousands of dollars taken away from them. They ain't out there killing anybody. Oh, let's not forget, I was introduced to another YouTuber that was scamming people out of their money, and ain't nobody unalive that person either. So what's really happening with society, people? Society's at a point where people only want to scream and holler for thieves and criminals. They don't want to holler and scream for those trying to do what's right. Okay? So it doesn't make any sense to me. And since it doesn't make any sense to me, you guys and girls, men and women, can come back and tell me exactly how I'm wrong. And how I know I'm not wrong, and this is the funny part. None of you are coming at me. So that tells me I must be speaking something that's true. And y'all don't have the ammunition or the gall or the information to come at me, because you don't know how to seek the information, or you don't know what the information is, or you want to make believe that you're in a bubble all by yourself. That's right, Ron. No more handouts. Absolutely. You know how I feel about handouts. People who get handouts, you know what? I'm going to quote Brother Ron, I voted for the person that's going to stop the nonsense. Bottom line. Yeah, I voted for Trump, and I'm glad he's doing what he's doing. Cut all y'all off. That's right. Make y'all work. Hell, 80 hours a month. If y'all complaining about 80 hours a month, stop having babies. Stop dumping them loads into them girls. Fellas, you should be castrated if you don't know how to help, contain yourself. Real simplified. You got 15 babies by 27 baby mamas. Look, you need to be castrated. Simple. I said the same thing to my nephew. Nephew's got freaking 7 kids out there crying that he ain't getting enough money from working. He gets $2,000 a week in his check, and all he comes home with is $75. I told him, I said, who told you to dump and run? It's your own fault. Castrate yourself. You don't have to worry about it. You're young. You still can have kids. You can keep doing what you're doing all the way to your 75. Just don't have no more stuff shooting out of you. You'd be all right. Real simple. He got mad at me, but it's the truth. So, for all of y'all that want to keep having babies, go ahead. You ain't gonna get the government to pay you anymore. You ain't gonna get the government to take care of you. You ain't gonna get the government to give you handouts. Section 8 is over. You ain't getting no damn $3,300 a month apartment, only paying $15 a month. Nope. That Mercedes-Benz you was driving because you could afford your Mercedes-Benz and not pay your rent, that's over. You got to turn that into. You better get yourself a Hyundai. Matter of fact, you better go get yourself a 1975 Toyota Celica. You might be all right. It might last a little longer. And, matter of fact, get a horse and buggy. Matter of fact, get a bicycle. This way your fat ass can actually start losing some weight. I ain't getting on a bicycle. I'm not that big yet. But then again, I ain't got no handouts. All the money I make is what I deserve to have. It's all my money. Yeah, 15 babies and 27 daddies. Yeah, that's right. Yep, absolutely. Because when you turn around and say you don't know who the hell baby daddy is, but you know you got 27 guys running in and out of you, it's all right. You keep doing what you're doing. So again, you guys can be mad at me. You guys can be upset at me. You guys can be upset. You guys can be bothered by what I'm saying. At the end of the day, this is what it is. At the FATATCHULA show, we talk about everything and anything that's underneath the book, above the book in the world right now. We're going to talk about everything. And if it hits close to home, and any of you want to speak in a different language, or y'all want to come at me in a different language, better be ready. Because whether you speak French, whether you speak Spanish, you want to speak Ebonics to me, I ain't having that conversation with you, because that tells me that your brain ain't even working. So don't come at me with no Ebonics. We can have a good conversation, English, Spanish, French, we're golden. Don't come at me with no hood talk, ain't happening. Them hood days for me is over. Because the first thing I'm going to turn around and tell you is, you're a leapfrog and just go. That's it. Or a leap lizard, rather, so I say. I don't want to talk to you. You ain't got nothing to talk to me about. Some baby days are known, some baby days are unknown. You're right, it's a 50-50 split. Yet, doesn't the woman know who it was? I mean, really, think about it. If the female has sex with 4 dudes, she knows which one of them 4 dudes dumped in her, because 9 out of 10, all 4 dudes probably dumped in her. But her turn around and say she doesn't know? Nah, not that she didn't know. Why she tells everybody she don't know is because the system that she's on requires her to tell them who that baby daddy is. And she don't want to say that she knows who the baby daddy is, because then the baby daddy gonna come. Look, you don't believe me? Look. If y'all don't believe me when I say this, every single one of y'all that turn around and say that what I'm talking about doesn't make any sense, you guys are a bunch of clowns. Straight up. I'm going to tell you why. The reason why many females do not tell the courts and or the system, which is welfare, that they know who the baby daddy is because they're afraid that that guy is going to come back and unalive them. That's why the female says she doesn't know. Now, you don't believe me in that one? Look at how many guys have been arrested for beating up or possibly unaliving a woman that was about to have a baby. I'm just saying. I watched a news article where the guy beat the girl up so badly, like if she was a dude, because she was pregnant with his child. What he didn't know is that regardless of how bad he beat her up, the child was still able to be alive. But he nearly killed her. He gave her look, I thought he was a WWE fanatic because he drop kicked her while she was walking away. He ran up on her and kicked her in the back, down to the ground, and then started wailing on her like if she was a dude, okay? Because she was pregnant with his baby. Now, you don't believe that? It happens everywhere. Happens everywhere. Why I say that? Because I watched a program about South Korea where guys in South Korea were unaliving the woman because she said she was pregnant. So when I say it happens everywhere, I'm sure that if I really did this research, I can find that almost anywhere and everywhere on this blue planet, there's a guy who doesn't like the fact that a girl is going to tell somebody else that she's pregnant by that guy. So the same thing happens here in the United States. The girl does not tell the court system who that baby daddy is because she may not want to be unalived. Okay? If you don't believe me, that's your choice. But show me the proof that it's not that. Because then I'll show you a bunch of receipts where guys are actually incarcerated for attempted murder of a woman and a child, and they have a life with another woman. Okay? So that goes back to what I said in my previous start of the day with the sun beating on my phone and overheating my phone, where I was saying that women are put on this earth not to accompany the man. No, it's to give the man structure. That's what the woman's for, to give the man structure, because men, we know we don't have the right mind to keep stable at times. Hence the reason why there's something that's called a baby daddy or a sperm donor. I mean, really, come on, think about it. Or better yet, the most famous song, was it Daddy was a Rolling Stone. Everywhere he laid his hat was his home. I mean, like, really, come on now. The facts are there. So let's stop making believe. Let's stop making believe that it's not happening. It is happening. So if all of you want to be against me, you want to argue with me, you want to say that I don't know what I'm talking about, look here. You guys can actually join my channel, which is at the FATATCHULA Show. It's a big yellow banner. You can't miss it, because if you miss a big yellow banner, that means you can't even drive, which most of you don't even have licenses to be driving. You see a big yellow banner, my face, that's my channel. It's the FATATCHULA Show. Subscribe to the channel. If you don't like it, share it. You don't want to share it, don't be mad because somebody else sitting around and say, oh, they were talking about you. That fella Jay was funny. He was talking about you because I know you got a whole bunch of women out there pregnant. Yeah, that's you. Or the other ones, oh, you on EBT. He was laughing at you too. You got EBT, you on welfare, now you got kicked off. Yeah, that's me. Because your days are over. It's over. Over. No more handouts. No more looking to the government to make things happy for you. Matter of fact, the last thing before I jump out, with the concept of having troops inside DC, I'm all for that. Just we gotta be very careful. We gotta make sure we know how to stop it from escalating to a point of military takeover. Protection, yes, because again, many of you are out there with stuff that, oof, not even a deer would want to see you walk up to it with what you got, because that deer already knows it's going to have more holes in it, that you're not going to have anything to eat because you put so many holes in it. Same thing, right? So that's why I say it's a thin line, but just be careful. Certain seed is needed. They need that extra backup. Some of you may understand why it's needed, and if any of you have ever called the police, it took them 20 minutes to get there. Yeah, all it takes is 10 seconds and you're unalived. So again, guys got to start watching out for yourselves. Guys got to start looking out for yourselves. Guys got to start looking out for the ones who you really care about. So with that being said, I'm going to make this closing statement, PSA announcement, for all of you to join my channel. If you haven't joined, join the FATATCHULA Show so you can be part of the excitement that comes down when the reaction videos go up. The reaction videos are live. They're not recorded, they're live, so whenever you participate, you can actually participate with the laughter and, of course, the commentaries. So we're all going to do it together. And I don't pick on the situation. I laugh at the person in the situation because they do things that are comical. Right? Also, big shout out to Ron from Ron's Opinion Don't Matter, because Brother Ron has reached his 2,000 subscribers. and is doing a collaboration with my Queen of Queens tomorrow, August 31st, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. He has giveaways, and he's requesting testimonies from those that actually have had the chance and opportunity to utilize the top to bottom products. On top of that, I wanted to give a big old shout out to my little nephew, Out the Pit. Out the Pit has various channels: Out the Pit Podcast, Out the Pit, and Out the Pit Sackcloth or Sackcloth LLC. And his Queen of Queens is Queen Sackcloth. 2 channels right there that have amazing content that they're coming up with, and or that's actually presently out there. Big shout out to Mike's Sports Bar. I have not had the opportunity to do a collaboration with Mike's Sports Bar yet because I'm not into sports. Yet I will be picking his ear when the Winter Olympics come around, because one of my favorite sports is curling, and of course cliff diving. I want to see his take on it. So I'm gonna give him something to really, really think about. All right. Ron, like I mentioned before, Ron's opinion don't matter. Another one, of course, A World Away From Here. If anyone is into music, that real subtle music, that calm the beast music, spa-like music, follow A World Away From Here. She has some phenomenal music on her channel that she's creating. She's new to the YouTube family, which, of course, by the way, the YouTube family that I'm part of course, is from Ron's Opinion Don't Matter, top to bottom, Out the Pit, A World Away From Here, Joyce Ort, Chiz For Real, our friend, because it's like here, and Bam Bam, of course, which is RIP_Bam Bam. All these people are part of the family. We're creating a family because we're all going to grow together. We all have separate channels, yet that's how we're going to grow. We're going to come together first, grow, and then we're going to keep growing. This way we could come back and have reunions and have a beautiful thing. So with that being said, please like, follow, subscribe to the FATATCHULA show. I may be sounding like I'm a little down right now, but it's really because it's the end of the day. I'm tired. I'm an old man. Old men get hungry. We get tired. We want to go to sleep. That's where I'm at, right? But don't rest assured that I'm very, very funny. Yes, I like to have a lot of fun. And trust me, you don't want to miss my reaction videos when I do my reaction videos. So please subscribe. Oh, another big old shout out to my sister of sisters. Yeah. Okay, I got to give a big old shout out to her because she's another phenomenal sister. She doesn't have any content, yet let me phrase that, she has very minimal content, and she's a very, very influential person. Okay, her channel, if she doesn't do anything with it, it's going to be big because I see and I have an idea of where she's trying to go. So big old shout out to Na Maria as well. And with that being said, one final point: never tell your loved ones bye, because bye means you're never going to see them again. Always tell your loved ones you'll see them later, because at the end of the day, we all want to see each other another day. So with that being said, I'll see all of you later. Brother Ron, I will see you tomorrow on our live. Okay, and of course, hopefully we're going to have a whole lot of fun. So be ready. Bring your cup of water. Bring your little hooch on the side, whatever it may be, because we're going to have a lot of fun. So with that, everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and follow my channel so you could understand why I do what I do and say what I do, or say what I say, and get a true understanding. And if you want it in Spanish, let me know, because at the end of the day, I'm here for my Latino sisters and brothers and uncles and nephews and aunties as well, because even we all need a voice. So whether you're in the United States or you're in some island or you're across the ocean, I'll speak a language that you can assist with. All right. So with that being said, later.